5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglash for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. Okay, now, first of all, I want to mention that we got the Jingle Mingle tomorrow, right here. You can, 1 billion hits. That's how you do it. What I was impressed with is that the kid mainly doesn't, it's not short format. It's not 3 seconds. It's 24 minutes on whatever topic he's going to talk about, little science experiments he runs and stuff. Does a lot of variety of things. He's gotten older now, and he's kind of doing more teaching, but millions, all his videos have 3 or 4 million views. So anyway, in case you're wondering where you could go on New Year's Eve, Mariah Carey is hosting a New Year's Eve bubble on Airbnb, and it's not expensive. I think she's charging $200 or something. Maybe it's less than that. And there's a $5,000 shopping spree included. But there's some requirements. Oh, it's just $21. But there's some requirements, which are that you've got to prove you live in New York and a bunch of other stuff. And the drawing was 8 o'clock this morning, Wisconsin time. So you already missed it. If you haven't registered. But anyway, I just thought it was a cute idea, and wouldn't that be fun? She seems like a nice kid. I ran across this article. Key marketing trends in Sri Lanka in 2021. And, we don't even think about Sri Lanka. We should look him up. It probably is like, it's probably tens of millions of people. Wouldn't surprise me at all. And it's some really beautiful places down there. But so it's marketing. But the reason I ran across it, of course, was that direct sales will turn to human marketing. And what was interesting was, here's an interesting point that I thought it was extraordinarily interesting to me. Direct sales will turn, the direct door-to-door sales is a concept that's probably dead today. But it's rather fascinating to learn that some are leveraging the fact that people are staying at home. It's an opportunity as people continue to stay back and work from home. So if you have a former direct selling company, like your Fuller Brush or somebody, you might want to go door to door. And if you're a retailer, and you don't know what to do for marketing, go knock on houses. One of my dental friends, when he got started, I said, you should do mail. And he did a flyer with a big chicken on it. It's a legendary story. And it said, "Are you chicken?" as a big headline above it. And it was talking about painless dentistry. Well, he hired some high school kids to go and put it on doorknobs with rubber bands. And it got his practice started. Woohoo. And so, you could do the same thing as a retailer. You could go door to door, say hello. We used to do that in politics. I remember going door to door in Waukesha on the Strand, which was a mainly Hispanic street. So I had 4 years of Spanish in high school, so it gave me a chance to practice. I probably didn't do very well. I was out campaigning for, who was I campaigning for? George McGovern? Because telling people that Richard Nixon was a crook and he was going to be in big trouble. Sure enough. Okay, so the same goes to traditional cold calling and old-fashioned direct mail. Okay, a majority of the population in many countries still aren't familiar with the technology, let's face it. No connection could compare to that of meeting a person in public and building relationships face-to-face. Surprisingly, these so-called old media are not quite dead. It's increasingly important in a digital world where there isn't much human touch. The guy nailed it. Actually, he nailed it. So I'll leave him go. Okay, now I want to get over here. Sean, my friend Sean Nelson over at Lovesac, was featured in a Yahoo finance article, and he talked about how sales were up 53% in the third quarter. They were outdistancing earning estimates. Their stock is up, and they did 2 million Facebook Live virtual demos. But the reason I bring it up is because we had the privilege of working with Sean and for a couple of years, like 3.5 years, something like that. And during that time, I showed them how to make direct mail work. The COO wanted to not open any more stores, which was the main way that they had been growing all these years. And the new VP of marketing, Patrick, came in, and he was from packaged goods, and he said, why would we want to send a catalog to people who already know what product we sell? They sell really nice beanbag chairs, you could call them, I suppose. They're not made from bean bags, and they're really nice. I really like them. And also couches that you can rearrange the parts. It's all parts, and you can take off the covers and get new covers and that sort of thing. And so, but it's a little complicated. People don't get it. And so what we decided to try and do was test the mail first with holdout tests. I've been having some conversations in the COVID group about holdout tests. And so we didn't mail some of the customers to see the value, because I said to Patrick, we can test that. We can test the value of your catalog. It may not be worthwhile. I'm not saying it is. That's one thing about a direct marketer. He won't necessarily fight with you. And so Patrick said, okay, let's try that. So we held back about 10,000 names, and it turned out that the ROI on the catalog, let's say it was $1, it wasn't, but let's say, was about $10 net profit. Not like that ROI article I talked about on Friday, where we got $10 more sales. That would not do it. That would not make it a $10 ROI. We got like $30 additional sales per customer compared to the ones that weren't mailed. And the $30 boiled down to about $9 of EBITDA profit. If you don't know what EBITDA means, take a course in accounting or finance. Anyway, and so with that done, Patrick was happy to fund it for another year at least. And in the meantime, we started testing offers, because I said, you've got 4 or 5 basic offers. Let's see which one drives the most traffic. And so we did A/B splits, simple stuff, and tested what drove more traffic to the stores. But the return on investment was so big, I said, you can prospect. You can drive traffic to stores with non-customers. You can get the mail to work. And along the way, LSC Direct introduced them to retargeting by mail, and that worked great. And especially since we'd already nailed down the right offers that got more traffic and got people to the stores. And so we were able to use that retargeting with mail to break through the clutter and get people into the stores. And while we were with them, and I can't take the credit for most of this stuff, but we did show them how you can test and you can measure the impact, the causal impact of advertising. That's the part people miss. People say, oh yeah, we test. Oh yeah, we test. We test headlines, we test this, we test that. What's the causal impact of that channel? Very difficult to tell. I saw an article today in Media Week that said 27% of web traffic was driven by email. Is that the only thing they saw? Can you prove it? Can you stop the email with a significant portion of your customers and see the differential? I bet you can't. You can with mail. That's the big difference. In scientific experiments, it isn't that we see a correlation. It isn't that we change something, run an experiment, and see something happen. In science, what we have to do is try to set up the experiment to isolate the main variable, to make everything else the same. So, I use this to explain to a golf client of mine. Would it be fair to say that a golfer that shot a 72 was better than a golfer that shot an 84? And the CEO of the company said, well, it depends. I said, yeah, I know it's not fair, because 84 was the highest Jack Nicklaus ever shot in a PGA tournament, and 72 was the best I ever shot on any course ever, and it was like an executive course. Actually, I shot 62 on a real executive course. course, this was kind of a hybrid in between. But anyway, it was still good golf in both cases. But it wasn't a Jack Nicklaus golf, And the CEO said, no, you have to have, the same players on the same course on the same day, same weather. What that does is isolate causal variables. That's why they change ends every quarter in football. So if there's a big wind from one end, it changes and isolates the weather. Not that you can change the weather, but you can give one team a chance for a while, and then you give the other team a chance for a while. That's how you do it. Okay, in mail we can do that. In digital, it's almost impossible because the engagement is so low that you don't see an impact when you stop. That's what I would challenge all my digital friends. Stop a channel for a month. See if your sales go down. See if anything happens. Most of the time it won't. Just saying. That's the only real way to isolate a channel's effectiveness. All this attribution on the back end, you drop a third-party cookie, you drop a first-party cookie. Yeah, sure, I visited a site. That doesn't mean I actually engaged with your ad, whereas mail has 100% engagement. So that's why I bring up Lovesac, because when they were with us, or we were with them, we moved from 50 million to 100 million without substantially adding any stores. And they went public, and they've continued the mail. Last I checked, I haven't checked, But really what we proved with mail was we proved that you could grow without that the mail drove something that the digital had not been doing. When we studied the digital before all of this happened, we found that in spite of the digital, most people the sales were just around the stores. There's nothing surprising there. I think they were surprised because they thought that if they had a good enough digital presence that people would buy outside the stores. Well, it turned out that we could use mail to build traffic. And I think this would apply to any retailer to a large extent. But the pivot, and I credit Sean and Patrick and the team there for doing live demos or whatever they're doing. Whatever they're doing some great stuff. But like I said, as far as I know, the mail is still continuing because they found out that engagement does have ROI. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do mail. I'm just saying that you can verify things. It's the most solid way to test. And that's why every digital marketer should be thinking about it, should be getting involved with mail. Now, the danger, as I pointed out last Friday, is that not everybody who's selling mail knows how to run mail because they're not teaching it in the schools. They're not teaching it. The DMA went out of business. Target Marketing Magazine got bought up by Adweek. We just don't have that many voices anymore. But if you want to find some, give me a call, hook up with the WDMA, come to our Jingle Mingle. You'll probably meet some great people. Elena said she's coming. Elena Neely from the post office, one of the legendary greats of the post office, in my opinion. So I'm looking forward to seeing Elena and some other postal people. And we got a whole bunch of people that registered, some really great print people, and it's just going to be crazy. My wife said, "How are you going to run this thing?" I said, we're just going to do our best. Have you ever been at a big cocktail party? You just do your best. You walk around, meet some people, say hi. That's, we wanted to do meeting rooms, breakout rooms, but we're not sure we'll have enough people to worry about it. So just come and say hello, and we'll exchange business cards somehow and have a drink. Which reminds me, I got to see if my flask is ready for this event. So Merry Christmas. Get ready for the new year. You're not doing anything this week anyway. We know you're just twiddling your thumbs watching YouTube videos. Here like right now. So go to WDMA.org and register. I think there's an email that went out today for that, so maybe we'll get some more registrations. It's okay. It's, we're doing more than some of the biggest organizations in marketing right now, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So have a great day. Merry Christmas. Like and share. Your friends will know you're smart. Bye-bye.